Willie D Live.
I had no idea Mike was that violent.
Now Mike was, and you know what? Mike was the sweetest dude, but like at the same time, like it took 2 seconds.
Mike is my homeboy.
Yeah,
man.
you know, Mike
That's my
used to
homie.
load off. He used to fire off for some cats, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike was a wild boy. Listen, I'm glad we was friends because there's a couple times we went nose to nose, but
Mike
I
put
think
that Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, he was, man.
Indiana Pacers on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how you get the gig at Apollo?
So the crazy thing about the Apollo, I was the youngest host ever, but before that, I was 26 when I got the job, but at the age of 23, there's a thing called the warm-up, and the warm-up goes out before Steve Harvey and get the crowd up and get them amped up and everything, so when he comes out, he's ready. He got a suit on and everything like that, got his little helmet on, that's before he, went bald.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was 2 other comics that were older than me, were more vets, and I was supposed to watch them, but they kind of canceled. So they threw me out there the first night, kind of threw me to the wolves with that Apollo crowd. But I killed it. It turned into not only me being the permanent, the only warm-up. I started hosting the McDonald's Kids Tour, where we discovered Jasmine Sullivan, a few other notable young stars today and stuff like that. And, it wasn't cool though, because me and Steve ain't get along at all. It was great for my career, but it was definitely not a healthy work environment.
But how'd you get the job though?
So I got the job because he didn't get, the producers pick who they want to put out there, and so he doesn't have a say. But I think, like I said, I'm telling you, when you get older, a lot of things happen to you, and you start thinking. And I used to have a grudge against Steve for the longest time. I never said anything. This may be the most public conversation I had about it, and I came to the understanding that I'm from the hood. I may not sell drugs or whatever, but if I'm on the block with the guys who sell drugs and they got beef with the guys up the street, when they come to shoot out the block, they ain't gonna be like, move. Get out the way. We trying to kill these guys. Y'all not on the radar. Nah, everybody got to get sprayed up. And so Steve had an issue with the producers, and the producers were trying to move him out and move somebody else in, because there was a lot of money that Steve was sitting on that people wanted to get their hands on. They're like, well, we paying him this. Can we get somebody else in that's probably new, don't know much about the money involved? We can get to that if we get rid of him. So I feel his attitude toward me, because he really loved that job. If he didn't love anything else in his career, the greatest host in American history, I give him that. He loved that Apollo job because he was so good at it. He was very good at it. He was the best host. I always say I'm the best looking host they ever had. But he was definitely that, because I learned a lot from him, watching him. But there wasn't that, and there was other things that I needed in my life that I looked to him for that I didn't get, that wasn't his fault. You understand what I'm saying? So that big brother, that fatherly type of, hey, you doing a good job, I never got that from him, and it hurt. But at the same time, I understood why now. Because even when I saw him at Def Jam 25, it's still that feeling like, oh, it's you. Every time he sees my face, it's you. To remind me of that bad period of my life.
Do you think that his acrimony toward you was because he thought that you might be trying to replace him?
Yeah, I think so. I think, because when you look at different things from different standpoints, it's like I didn't see it. I'm just a young kid. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. You tell me to get 2 suits. He told me to get some suits. I went and took my little money, got 2 suits and a bunch of shirts to go in. They thought I was security when I wore the black one. You know what I'm saying? Because I was I'm listening to Steve. Steve says this is the way. This is what he required. So I did everything, and then I was the best warm up to this day. That's kind of how Chappelle and I got into being friends, because one of the producers from his show was on our show at the Apollo, and when I became the host, and that's a whole nother story, but with Steve, he definitely felt that whole thing, that push from them, and I was in the center of it, and sure enough, if he felt that way, he was right, because I became the host right after him.